still streaming? Sorry. You're... Oh, good. Okay, you just stopped. I'm sorry. I should first introduce myself. Good evening. Thank you for tuning in. If you're watching on the replay, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. I have to click on a button so that people can actually message me into the chat because I always forget to do that. And, you know, I like being able to chat with people, so we gotta click on that button. So if you can't chat, hit that refresh button and you should be able to chat now. And there we go. I just finished watching Clobbering Times and I wanted to, you know, they were reading a Star Trek comic and it was a good time, so I stuck around even though I gotta get up early. And so this is gonna be a quick one. Hey, Adega Outlaw, how you doing? So we were trying to image the moon, but we got some clouds passing by, and maybe if I crank up my frame rate, I can get some cool Halloween, like spooky Halloween footage. But what I wanted to do was chronicle my efforts to build a Victory Gundam mobile suit very briefly. Because, you know, I gotta be up, well, I don't have to be up that early. By the way, good show this morning. I enjoyed watching you. I hope Loki feels better, but I did enjoy tuning into the replay on that one. I did not get up early enough to watch. So this is the Victory Gundam, and it's probably one of my all-time favorite mobile suits because it's very versatile. And to give you an idea of the versatility, you can see how, like, you got this thing called a core fighter, and the core fighter is actually located in the chest, hence the name core fighter. And so this ultimately turns into this, and this is a trope or a feature since the original Gundam, but in this particular series it becomes like normal because it can, you know, dock in mid-air, and it's very trivial to do the, you know, the routine of docking and undocking. And thank you for confirming that Loki is doing better. I appreciate that. So, you know, like, it's like in the Victory Gundam, it's sort of like the last Gundam series in the UC timeline, and so at this point this is actually among the two or main types of mass-produced Gundam mobile suits. So that's why the Victory Gundam is unique. But anyway, I already transformed it into the cockpit module, and this is literally just the, you know, chest. You can see the resemblance right there. And so we're gonna just see how much work or how little work it takes to morph it back into its other configuration. So if I remember correctly, the order of operations hopefully doesn't matter too much. But if it does, we'll find out. Whoa, 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 gotta be careful. Don't want to snap anything in half. And as the, there we go. Okay, good. We already slid it out and we can already see the pilot in the cockpit. I actually had to paint that. And then we fold the armor up on the front, and there you go. Now you got the nose to a fighter plane. What up, Lemon Pie? Thanks for dropping by. I'm just doing a quick overview of my Victory Gundam, and we went from having this particular shape where you see the chest armor, and already I've extended the nose. We can see the pilot. Here, I'll give you guys a nice close-up look of Uso, and you can see I have like the yellow. He's got like an airbag seatbelt type vest thing going on. You got actual safety straps that are gray. I even did the blue color on his helmet. It's a little hard. It was a little challenging to do it. I used a Gundam paint marker with a fine-tipped brush. All right, so we still got to continue the transformation here. So let's get this on the road. And I have a landing gear right here. Yeah, so let's keep rolling. This shouldn't take long because, I mean, this thing has to be able to do this in combat. So, okay, we got to take the vertical stabilizer or rudder, depending on what term, nautical or air, you know, aerospace. And then there's this piece here that I always run into trouble with, but I think we could have just pushed it down. Oof. See, it makes an ugly clicking sound every time we do that. Human model. Humanoid. I'm sure you meant humanoid, of course. It's sacrilege to Gundam fans to call it human. No, I'm kidding. So, see, like, I don't know if you heard the clicking sound, but this thing made two distinct clicking sounds as I was pushing the head down. So now it's in the correct position. The vertical stabilizer can be flipped up into its, you know, flight configuration. And I think there's a little bit of a blockage, and this is expected. This happens sometimes where you like are trying to do it and you're like, why doesn't this? Ah, there we go. I think we got it. Hey, we actually got it. First time I did this, I thought I was gonna rip it in half, but this, oh, we gotta put the landing gear. Let's put the landing gear. But this was like a few hours of work, maybe. I don't know, maybe I could be more efficient, but it took me a little bit of time, and I did it across 2 nights in 2 sittings. And I've been dying to work on a Victory type. Now, there's another Victory Gundam I would love to work on, but this is the V2 Victory Gundam. And since I have misplaced, I actually built a core fighter for the first one. Misplaced it years ago. Well, actually, maybe like I had it in my desk drawer up until a year ago and then misplaced it. But this time I'm going to see this one through. And I'm hoping I find the missing core fighter to the first Victory Gundam so I could have like a, you know, more complete lineup. But that's basically the gist of it. You got your pilot, and let's go and morph it back into the other configuration one more time. And then, oh, gotta check my telescope. Here, we're gonna land the core fighter, and it does have vertical takeoff and landing. There we go, it's landing on an unstable, rocky ground. We gotta be a little careful. There could be an earthquake. Ah! Okay, our pilot might be lost. All right, let's double check. And I'm dying to use Google Translate to translate these pages. Maybe we'll do that before the stream is up. But, anyway. I see Lemon Pie. Oh, I didn't put the chat on screen today. Where are my manners? Give me 1 second to get that chat on screen, please. There we go. What toys was it back in the day that had humans standing on a magnetic plate? Then the toy would spring-loaded transform around them. I always love those things. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know, but that sounds vaguely familiar. What up there, VC and M Dumping Ground? You're a valued member of the Castlevania Cast Club for discovering the identity of a... it is you! Alright, sorry, I got excited. I hope I don't wake up my neighbors, but it is you. I'm excited to be... I was about to ask you that question, but I'm glad you confirmed that. I don't know if I subscribed to that in the past. I don't know why or how. I don't know if that was Captain Neckbeard. But yeah, I'm glad that I'm following you in 2 places. Good to have a backup. They say you should always have a backup plan. So anyway, are we in focus? Probably. There was some clouds passing by, and I was just trying to get some quality shots that I can process later. I think we're still seeing some clouds. So anytime you see like this ripple effect, it either means you're out of focus or you got clouds, and it's probably a little bit of both. And unfortunately I can't use my secondary camera right now because it's kind of giving me some lip, and I'm not going outside to check the USB cable because I think the atmospherics are such that I'm not wasting any good imaging time with deep sky. That's why I'm looking at the moon, because at least with the moon I can tell if there's any interference in my, you know, viewing. And we could try cranking the motorized focuser in and out and seeing if maybe it gets better or worse. Only you figured it out. Action Man Gaming and Captain Neckbeard are all the same. I know that. I didn't know that in the past, but I know that now. But I knew that way before now. But what I meant was, I didn't know if backup channel was maybe like Action Man Gaming but renamed, or Captain Neckbeard but his channel was renamed, you know. But you know, I believe in what Captain Neckbeard does. He's an important ally because I actually got this cool picture. I know this is going off topic, but I don't know, I've been going balls deep into the doomed Franklin expedition, and basically this is like one of the documents left behind. It's like basically saying, if you find this paper, forward it to the Admiralty or the British Consul. And it's got like 5 languages on here. A shame they didn't put Inuit language, Eskimo, on here, because maybe the Inuit might have been willing to, you know, not steal the metal can that this paper was stored in. Because anyway, but bottom line is, the note says the coordinates, all is well, 1846. Then a year later, like Captain Fitzjames and Captain Crozier, with palsy handwriting, is writing along the border of the paper, basically saying all is not well. And the captain died like a month after saying all is well. So now they have like the second in command in charge of the expedition. And I don't know, I just don't know why I jumped off topic. I'm sorry for going off the rails there. Let's get back on topic here. Slimnim, you are also a valued member of the Castlevania Cast Club. I'm honored to be a member. I should play Castlevania since it's still October. But this dude's been on this quest, on this crusade to play Castlevania since like, I think August or something like that. Slimnim, I read that message. I love to moob. Yeah, I love to moob too. Moon too. When I was a kid, I thought that Pee Wee Herman got arrested for mooning people in a movie theater. And I think that was just something my parents told me so I wouldn't moon people in school. They're like, yeah, don't moon people because Pee Wee Herman got arrested for mooning people. So I always had this picture of Pee Wee Herman going to like the United Artist or Regal Cinema Theater back then. Which, I mean, we called it United Artist back then, UA. And just kind of getting in front right under the big silver screen and going, her, her, and like mooning everybody. Pulling down his pants, just showing his bare ass. And doing the whole Pee Wee Herman, her, her, like while wearing his suit. But no, that's not what he did. And I can understand in retrospect why my parents didn't tell me that Pee Wee Herman, you know, what he really did. Just saying. Starcom is, oh, Starcom. Okay, now I'm mixing up something else. So there was a video game for Switch called Starlink. And I think it had some like gimmick that involved the figurines. It wasn't amiibos, but it was similar. It did have amiibos, but what I didn't like was it had Star Fox, Fox McCloud in it. But it wasn't about, you know, Star Fox. It was like a hodgepodge of games. It looked like more like a way to make money. So I was like, it was alright, but Everspace was a little bit more my jam. And what was the other space game? Everspace Between the Stars is kind of similar, but like more RPG style, but still a pretty cool game with nice graphics that lets you control and attack things with futuristic weapons. You can fly around in a spaceship and you can customize it. So yeah, Between the Stars is pretty sweet. So it looks like those clouds subsided just a little bit, but hopefully post-processing magic will help us to punch through that, and we will maybe switch to a narrowband filter. I'm currently switching to the final broadband filter, which is the color blue, unless we include luminance. The document is fascinating. I love history. Yeah, no, that stuff is pretty cool. And the Franklin expedition, like, so what happened was years ago, after discovering Hyperion, written by Dan Simmons, I at some point decided to read some of his other books. And one of them was called The Terror, which is named after the HMS Terror, which is one of the two sailing ships that went on the polar expedition, Arctic expedition, to find the Northwest Passage, a shortcut basically through the ice. And these were like icebreaker ships. These were modified bombardment ships. In fact, one of these ships was literally the reason for the Star-Spangled Banner. It was one of the ships that was bombing or shooting bombs bursting in the air at Fort McHenry, and that's where that lyric came from, bombs bursting in the air. There was that guy, and he's watching the Terror or the Erebus, you know, shooting these bombs, and these things are like heavy deck mortars. Like, so there's like at least two of these like ultra wide mouth mortar, you know, cannons on the deck of this ship at like maybe a 45-degree angle, but the mouth on the thing is like this big. So they put like a ball full of explosive material like this big inside this freaking thing, and, you know, shooting it off at the fort. And of course the ship is heavily reinforced to handle this type of thing. So of course it was a logical choice as an icebreaker. Of course, adding the extra iron and copper cladding and iron cladding to it made it a bit heavier. So now the draft was deeper and it was more likely to run aground when they went to that region. That was the downside. I don't remember if I adjusted. Oh, there we go. We got some clouds. So anyway, let's keep reading the chit chat. Okay, I made it blurry on purpose. I wanted to make sure I was, all right. So yeah, you know, and this is a low-res copy of the document. I'm pretty sure I have a high-res copy of the document, but I'm not, you know, about to dig through my pictures right now. But even this one alone, you know, it still gives you an idea of what's what and the condition it was in. And we don't know why there wasn't more documents left behind. We know, like, they did build a base camp away from the ship, and at some point, in fact, the second note they said, like a year later, like, they were like, we're leaving the ship. Basically, they're abandoning the ship, and they had sledges or sleds with lifeboats on them and whale boats on them and different types of, like, you know, auxiliary craft. They were just dragging them across the ice and then dragging them across the gravel on Prince William Island. And it was just like something that, if these people are already coming down with scurvy, these guys had like the first canned food. That's another cool thing. Like, not the first canned food, but like very early canned food. Like, I can't even get a picture of this because it's kind of cool. I think it's kind of cool. I mean, you know, to each their own, right? But we're going to get you guys a picture of Goldner's canned food. So let's see here. And like right now, I'm using my mini keyboard, which I'm so glad I am, because like it allows me to, you know, like keep my main keyboard off to the side where it's not in my way while I'm doing this model kit thing. So I got my keyboard right there. And I'll clean this up a little bit, but I already showed the Gundam transforming. Did I transform it? Where is my Gundam? Oh yeah, I landed it. Here, let's get the Gundam back out. Okay, there we go. Oh, there we go. Maybe we'll transform it one more time before bed. Although it's probably better for me to keep it in that configuration when I go to bed. I mean, I'll take a vote. If people say they want to see it transform one more time, I'll do it. So anyway, wow, that's a low resolution thing. So yeah, you got ox cheek. Ox cheek. I love me some ox cheek. Has anyone ever had ox cheek? Here's the cans right here. So they look like pretty normal cans, except these are from 1845. They're painted and they're soldered shut with lead. Like maybe there's like a tin or lead solder. And this guy's actually selling like reproductions of these cans. And you can see like a little hole in the top of the can. We're going to find another picture because like it's sort of illustrative. So you can see like here's some cans that were found as historical artifacts. And at one point it was argued that maybe the crew came down with lead poisoning and it helped make them go more and more insane. But others argue that the lead detected in their bones during the 1986, artifact collection expedition, basically like, people were going back to the area where these people were marooned multiple times. And they think that the lead in their bones doesn't indicate that the lead they received was during the mission because, lead in your bones, as I've been told, only indicates lifetime exposure. You can't really pin that down to like the time they were on the mission. Maybe it was during the mission, maybe not, but you can't guarantee it. Here's like another reproduction can with like what looks like the shoddy soldering job. I think they went for that on purpose to try to simulate the crappy job, but I don't even think they had can openers. I think they would just use a boat knife and just kind of jab that thing opened. And here's some bread. I think that's a biscuit. Not really sure, but And so anyway, how do they seal these cans up? Well, basically, it's like sort of like pressure canning when you have those glass jars. And what you would do is, what they would do in the factory is they'd have the cans sitting in a vat full of water. And the food inside would get loaded through that hole in the top. So this hole would actually be open, I think. And they would load the food into the can while it was hot. And then while it was still hot, they would weld it shut or solder it shut with the lead. And you can even see some evidence of that here. Even though this is a reproduction, as I understand it, these are supposed to be very accurate reproductions. And then you would let it cool down. And just by letting it cool down while it's been sealed shut, you would get a partial vacuum on the inside, which would effectively serve to, help to preserve the food. Except, of course, some of these were not sealed so perfectly. And this was an issue that was encountered on other British naval expeditions, which is why, we have a pretty good working theory about the Franklin expedition at this point in the Arctic. And furthermore, the scurvy, well, these wouldn't have prevented scurvy anyway. The lemon juice would have lost its potency, and the only way that you could avoid scurvy by eating seal meat, it turns out, is by not cooking it, which these guys, if they ate raw seal meat, they probably would have had a bad go of it as well because their bodies weren't adapted to it, whereas the Inuit or Eskimos, were a bit better adapted. So, I don't know, I find that super duper kind of fascinating. Ever think about the foldable keyboard? Oh, did I ever? I wouldn't use it at home for desk space, but Slim Name, let me tell you, I have a history of folding keyboards. I mean, I don't have a folding keyboard here, but I got a device that would work with a folding keyboard. If I could just pull it out from here. Yeah, I got it. All right. This is not my original Pocket PC, but this is a Windows HP iPad Pocket PC. These things were freaking cool because you'd have like, if you thought the Galaxy Note was cool, which I get my Galaxy Note back from repair tomorrow, this would run Windows Mobile. At the time, it was Pocket PC 2002, I believe, or Windows Mobile OS. And in fact, this was Pocket PC 2000. I had a later model that had an SD card slot in the top. And these were cool because they had what they call an expansion pack. So this is just a cover, but they would actually have this thing that would connect to this port here. And they have expansion packs that would take laptop expansion cards, PCMCIA cards, or compact flash cards. Or an expansion pack I had would have both the compact flash card and an extra external battery, and that thing was cool because like now this thing was like just a damn good MP3 player for like a while there. Like I was a happy ass camper. But when I had a Palm Pilot, I had the Targus folding keyboard, and that one like was one of the best. In fact, there's a guy on YouTube who made a Bluetooth dongle and schematics and whatnot and Arduino plans, you know, for the microcontroller, so that you could use the old Targus folding keyboard on new phones. The problem is that there was never any function keys on the Targus keyboard, so you would have to like remap some keys or program the Bluetooth device, which apparently is doable. The guy I commented on his video is like, yeah, you can do it, you know. So I was like very tempted to go on eBay and get one because this thing was cool. Like if you ever look up Targus folding stowaway key, excuse my hiccups there. In fact, you know what? Let's walk down memory lane. Yeah, okay, good. We can get pictures of this. Oh yeah, we got it. All right. So they had the problem with these was that they had to be specific. So like this one would go on a certain types of Palm Pilots, others would go on, you know, HP Pocket PCs or what have you, but you see how it folds up. And so these two red things here, you push them in and it locks. So there's like interlocking bits where the gap is over here, and you get like a proper, more or less proper laptop keyboard minus the F row. But thanks to, like I said, the new method of getting it to work, you could theoretically like get function keys on here. But it would stow away into this, and I had this. I used to bring it to school and use it for notes and stuff. It's kind of cool. So that was my thing for a while. But nothing has come quite close to this. I saw a couple products that looked similar, but one of them didn't have the locking thing, so you had to use it on a flat surface. And even though I never used this on my lap, because having a the handheld computer I just showed you guys, the Pocket PC, like on this while on your lap, that just wouldn't be reliable. It would wobble and fall. Ever think about, yes, canned food was made long before the can opener, or just after the Palm Top. Yeah, so I had those too. I got one laying around here, but it's more like a 1 megabyte Sharp Zaurus ZR5000. And yeah, something like this kind of. This is not really, this picture is distorted. This one's an accurate picture right here. So I have one of these still, and I even have the cable for it right to my left. And I don't remember there being a real expansion slot on mine, but there was a, oh wow, this guy's got the modem. Not that it really matters, you can't really do shit with the modem anyway, but like at the time you would have been able to hook it up to a phone line and downloaded, what you call it, like email, and uploaded emails from your outbox. Now this here, I don't know what this wireless interface is, but I guarantee you that this is infrared. It looks like something you plug into a printer to wirelessly transmit print stuff, and that was kind of cool because you had a proper word processor, and what you would do is you'd synchronize it with the computer, and you would basically like open it in Word. It would convert the documents between one and the other. So it was pretty cool in that regard. It had like a pretty good word processing capability for sure. This guy's got like way more like extra adapters than you really need, but it's still good to have depending on your situation. Now, of course, they had the Windows Palm Tops, right? You had the NEC Mobile Pro, for example. Now, these were like almost like laptops. That's basically a Palm Top right there. That's like, NEC sort of like would like blur the lines between Palm Top and what have you. And it looks like Windows, it doesn't run the same applications, although Windows CE had a pretty good lineup of applications. I used to go to 2cows, TUCOWS, 2cows.com, and download a plethora of stuff. And then when I went to Palm OS, a lot of the apps were still there because at the time, you usually didn't do over-the-air downloads like you do at the App Store. But that's why when the freaking iPhone was like, oh, we got an App Store on iOS 2.0, I was like, who gives a shit? I could do that. I had a BlackBerry at the time with the iPhone, and I was like, I could go on my web browser and Google the app I want and download the OTA download, click on a link basically, and it would install from the web browser. So it wasn't a revolution to me. The only thing was like, that's one of the reasons why I didn't like the iPhone when it came out. I was like, why would I want to get a device that I cannot download new apps onto? And for a little while there, before iOS 2.0, the only way to put apps on was through jailbreaking it for a while and using something like Cydia or whatever they called it at the time. They had a couple of ways. Few people even know how a word processor is different than Microsoft Word. I don't know how a word processor is different. Are you talking about the freaking physical typewriters? I'm talking about word processing software. But you might be talking about those funny typewriters, and those things are kind of funny in my opinion, depending on the type. I actually saw a video about them the other day, like, and these were weirder ones. Like Olivetti made like a line that had like DOS, or had PC components, but they didn't run DOS. They had like I don't know, 200 kilobytes of RAM or some insane crap like that. Only thing I can't find is the Cassiopeia E15, and it's unfortunate because like that was my first PDA, and I don't have it anymore. But I can get a Cassiopeia E100. I don't think I would. Oh wait, whoa, dude! You know how long I've been looking for this? Now, should I spend 75 British pounds on this shit? I might. You have no idea, guys, how long I've been looking for this. Maybe I could do like or best offer or something like that. Cause you have no idea how long I've been trying to like search for one of these, and I just couldn't find it. I did not expect this shit to come up like instantly. It's kind of absurd if I really decide to spend $75 on this fucking thing, $91. But it has a compact flash slot. I can get compact flash cards today on, you know, eBay and Amazon. I mean, it shouldn't be. I paid $200 for it in $19.99. But it is a scarce unit. The scarcity alone means this guy could really make a killing off of a collector like me, especially a nostalgic collector. You know, nostalgic collectors are like the easiest. Plus, he's got the cradle. He might even have the charger in there. I don't see the charger, but he might have a charger. I hope he's got the charger. Oh, you don't need a charger for this. Yes, this thing here, it does support a rechargeable battery, but it will just as well work off of 2 AAA batteries. Now, when I was like, 12 years old, I didn't use the green Indiglo backlight a lot. But, I mean, these days, I use Panasonic rechargeable batteries up to, I got a shit ton of them. So, if I was using something like this, I could use the Indiglo backlight. I have a website. I've been meaning to do this, so I can show you my 1990s Sailor Moon and anime wallpapers website. Give me 1 second. Let me make sure I type this right. Let's see. I think it's angelfire.lycos.com. Yeah, because like it used to be angelfire.com, but they changed it to angelfire.lycos.com. The cost is all built into the rechargeable battery. So, okay, I'm going to shrink this website a lot. So it says the Sailor Moon PDA goodies page. So PDA for personal digital assistant. And I have a black and white picture that I probably like exported from MS Paint at the time on my Pentium laptop. And I wrote this crap like years ago, like 1999, 2001 maybe at the late. I think it's before 2001. Might have even been 1998. And I wrote this when I was like 10, 11, 12. I chose to start working on this page again. I added a few pics optimized for PDA screens. I still got lots to do. Coming soon, a PDA wares section. So I was going to put like wares, wares, bootleg apps. And so, I don't know, wallpapers for Windows CE. Okay, deadly. Oh, you know what? We might be able to fix that. But that's going to be like, and some of these, what the fuck? Okay, that's Yahoo advertising. Oh, okay, so this one goes to GeoCities. This one also goes to GeoCities, so these don't go anywhere anymore. And this one's a classic right here. Emily's Sailor Moon Room. I can probably find this on one of the archive sites if you guys really want to see what the Sailor Moon scene looked like in 1999. But, this one here, this link here, I found out, so years ago I found a site, then I lost it again because I changed the subdomain to angelfire.lycos.com. At least that was the only way I could find it. But now, I recently figured out I was able to reset the password to edit this website. So I thought about updating this website. And actually, there's a couple more websites on here. Let me see if we can find them. So I have videos, where me and my friends used to do Jackass videos. All right, I don't know what just happened. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoops, gotta be careful there. I'm trying to figure out, I forgot how to list the other stuff. This is index.html, and there is a way to navigate this, and I don't know, I'll figure it out later. One of these days, we could jump down that rabbit hole. But I'm keeping that browser open on the Pocket PC, so I'll give you a little bit of a lowdown. So it did have this weird launcher, but this was actually just an app. And you didn't have to use it. You just go straight to your wallpaper and desktop, basically. I don't think it had desktop icons, but it had a start menu. And before I could load apps on it, I used to just go into the sound settings, because, you know, it tried to emulate the behavior of Windows 95. Like, you know, if you click on something, make a clicking sound. And if you had an alarm, it would have an alarm sound. If you received the email, which I've never done internet stuff on this, it was literally like just drawing. In fact, that's what you do. When you had a PDA like this, you would like maybe use it as a calendar, but you do a lot of drawing on a device like this, basically. That would be like kind of what you would do. So I can't believe I'm about to pay some guy in England all this money for a black and white device, because there was a time where I would have wanted the color device. But here's the thing. The black and white device is like that thick. The color device is like a brick. It's literally a brick. If you read the CNET review on the E100, which is what you're looking at here, it is a pocket brick. It also has a custom battery pack, so in a way it would be more advantageous for me to have the E15 just by virtue of it not. Now, these aren't built like modern phones, and so when I used to put this in my pocket, the plastic on the back would flex a little bit. And in fact, one day it stopped working, and when I took it apart, I saw a cracked component on the board. Now, these days, I might actually know how to replace that component. Back then, it was like, okay, this is beyond my ability, and I just kind of scrapped it. I took it apart, explored it, and scrapped it. So, yeah, I mean, I hope you guys learned something from that. And what is this? A lot of 10 Casio E125 PDAs. Jeebus. $60 or best offer. Now, I'm going to guess these all take a battery pack that I can't replace without building myself one. And you can see, like, that's the brick right there. So that of the PDA was like half the thickness of what you're looking at here. So to give you an idea, like, of what we're looking at here. And I don't know why you would need this many vintage PDAs, but they're available if you want them. Toshiba made a pretty poppin' PDA for a while there, and this would have been like a bit later, I believe. And at one point, I would run Nintendo game emulators, and Nintendo games would run on them. Game Boy, black and white Game Boy games would work on it. Like, you could run emulators on it, so that was kind of cool. But the Palm Tops, yeah, I didn't really get into Palm Tops, right? I got in a little bit later than the Palm Top age. I mean, they were around, but HP was big on them. And I think what happened was, instead of doing HP Palm Top, I skipped straight to HP Jornada, but you can see HP had a bunch of like palm top like devices as well. And so actually they made Jornada, yeah, so Jornada palm tops, but they also made, like, there's a James Bond movie where I think he's driving the car with a device similar to this. He's like in the back seat using the stylus pen to move the car using this absurd device. And I had a Jornada 540. In fact, this says Minstrel 540. It looks like what they did was they piggybacked a modem, a cellular modem, onto this device and rebranded it as the Minstrel 540. But this is definitely either a Jornada 540 with an extra expansion device on it, or, yeah, it looks like it's literally just docked onto the serial port. Yeah, I had something like this, and so this would have been the first device I was watching color video on, and I broke it because I was trying to fit a Wi-Fi card into it, and I had to saw the back off, and I wrecked it. But I should have just bought the $40 adapter that converted the slot into a Type 2 slot. But the HP iPack I showed you was, you know, an advancement. The iPack that I got later was even better. It had something called a trans-reflective screen. Basically, the later iPack I had, which was similar to what I have now, had a very similar display to what we're seeing here. Which reminds me, I haven't been connecting my watch to my phone lately because I've had my phone in repair, so I sometimes sync it over Wi-Fi, and today I look at the time and it was off by like 10 hours. And then I fixed the time manually, and I'm riding my bike and it does it again. Just thought that was kind of interesting. Can't wait to get my phone back from repair tomorrow so that I can get back up and running and not use the thing I've been using. This is what I've been using right here. It's all right, but my note you know, Note 20 Ultra is just way better. I mean, this thing, I got it to run better. I disabled animations on it. So, like, there's no animations. Like, whenever there's supposed to be an animation now, like this part, watch when I close apps. This animates, but it doesn't do any of that, like, zooming animation. If I open up an app, it just pops up. And if I minimize it, it doesn't even do that zooming effect. It just disappears, which is kind of cool. And when you, like, refresh something, it gives you, like, here's one example. If I want to connect to my telescope, so instead of getting the spinner, it just gives you that ugly arrow. Which, like, whoops, oh god, I'm connected to my desktop by accident right now. We don't want to do that. So anyway, let's get back to the chat, my friend Slim and M here. Seeking of a brick. My ex always carried one of those huge duffel bag purses. If I ever went into, like, went into, like, at a concert or a party or something, she would literally put a brick in the bottom of her purse. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, I misread that. If we ever went into a concert or a party or something like that, she would literally put a brick in the bottom of her purse. Wow. Is that, like, so that, like, people don't steal the purse, or so that she could beat someone up with the bag? Either way, that's kind of cool. So my mom, my late mother, would tell me about my dad. What happened is they'd go out, you know, let's say to the zoo or a family outing or something like that. And my dad would bring the camcorder, you know, and this is like a shoulder thing with a hand grip, and, you know, it's a VHS camcorder. I could probably even find it. So let's see, Chinon camcorder, Chinon, which I believe is a sister company to Chinar. So actually, no, none of these look like my dad's camcorder. Like, this one kind of looks like it. This looks like the bag that his camcorder came in, but he bought it in, like, 1989, I believe. Let's see if we can find, well, darn it, I misspelled the word VHS. Swing it hard, I see. It would have been a darker color and a little bit cooler looking than this one, but yeah, it was a VHS deck, basically. It wasn't VHS-C, this was like full-on VHS. And so anyway, long story short, it took a battery pack. That started to look kind of like it. Not really. Nah, not at all. It had this external unit though, but anyway, that's a Panasonic right there. Anyway, so the battery pack was like this big. It was like a brick, like this wide, this thick on the side, and that long. And my dad would just throw it in my dad would just throw it in my mom's duffel bag. He wouldn't tell her. He would just throw an extra battery in her duffel bag, and she'd be carrying a bag around being like, this shit's heavy. And then my dad would be like, oh honey, can you pass me the battery I put in your bag, the extra battery? Like, what do you mean extra battery? Oh, that's why my freaking bag is so heavy. It's so fucking awesome, just sneaking his battery into a handbag and not telling him, man. That's gangster. So anyway, VCR 1800 cam. I don't know, but I will look up what that is. It was a Chinon, C-H-I-N-O-N, Chinon, and I suspect I'm not going to find it unless I go and go and find the camcorder in my dad's house. It could have been a 3001. I always wanted to, like, get on one of these newer Canon Vixia or Panasonic camcorders. One time I had this customer who happened to be a tranny, but they were nice, so I'm not going to make fun of them. And this girl, because I didn't even know it was a guy at the time, you know, they looked the part. What could I say? Anyway, so I'm taking the camcorder, inspecting it at Geek Squad, right, to, like, service it, and I'm moving the camera around. I'm looking inside the lens on the front. I'm seeing this gimbaled lens moving around like this, like it's moving in like all four directions. I'm like, this is cool. Like, that was some, like, cool optical image stabilization in that camcorder, you know. And if you don't know, now you know. No, I'm kidding, but oh, that's a 1-1. If you say so. Oh yeah, that moon is looking very shady. I don't think we get any more moon. Hey Google, is it gonna rain? Let's look at Jupiter real quick. Hey Google, is it gonna rain?
On the website weatherbug.com, they say partly cloudy with a slight chance of rain. Chance of precipitation 25%.
Ah, shit. I might have to go outside. Maybe I'll just pack when I pack this in, I'll go outside. I'm gonna do a quick AccuWeather forecast. I was hoping I could just be lazy and leave the telescope exposed for a third night in a row. But usually when you start like doing whatever you want, you start tempting fate, you know? I mean, I should be fine. I should be fine here. I don't see any issue here. Google just said 25. Hey Google, is it gonna rain tomorrow morning?
No, it won't be rainy Friday morning in Staten Island.
All right.
The
Hey,
forecast is 59 degrees and cloudy.
hey Google, what's the forecast for Friday?
Friday in Jupiter, it'll be partly cloudy with a high of 83.
Hey Google, what is the weather on Friday in? I don't know why.
Friday in Staten Island, it'll be partly cloudy with a high of 77 and a low of 60.
I don't know why I just muted my sound. I think you guys already know where I live. I usually don't go out of my way to hide that anyway. I say it half the time. All right, so there's Jupiter right there. So we're gonna switch to maybe a luminance filter to get all of the colors. Well, guy, girl, what if as long as no Dre. Check out the weather in the U.S. as a whole. Crazy. And let me guess, they're gonna tell me it's because of climate change. No, okay, I'll take a look. Well, nothing America. The hurricane is driving crap wild. I get so uptight. Yeah, as long as I do look at the continental U.S. map. What do you mean this request was blocked? Yeah. I'm having trouble accessing my preferred satellite weather map right now. And then when I go to this site, I don't even know how to find it when I go to this page. But usually I just type in like, and it auto completes and I don't have to find it. I should probably bookmark. In fact, I think I have it in my bookmark spot. I mean, you know, like it is a good idea to like try and check for real. Like, yeah, what? I'm not gonna spend time on stream trying to find the weather map right here. Usually I just auto-complete it like I do AWC, Aviation Weather Center. Here we are. Yeah, okay, it looks like they changed something. So for now, what about microphysics? Microphysics could be fun sometime. Alright, yeah, wow, that one's interesting. So this is the GOES East Northeast microphysics map. And sometimes when the weather is clear, I'll look at this and it'll show me that it's not actually going to be good for astronomy. So more importantly, hey, what up, Philip Gaming? Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, so I think I'm about to just transform my Gundam back into its original configuration. We jumped all over the place just now. We even found my first pocket PC on eBay, and that's interesting because I couldn't find it. I don't want to be all contagious with the you know, with the yawning here. I don't want to, you know, get contagious. So basically, this is the Victory Gundam that I started this stream on, and I basically built the core fighter and only the core fighter. Right now, we're about to turn this back into the cockpit of the Gundam, because basically this chest part turns into a fighter plane, and it goes into all these different configurations. Hey, what's up there, Cole Hond? Nice to meet you. I don't know if I've ever seen you in the chat before, but welcome to my channel, and I hope you like some of what you see. Please feel free to check out my past videos. Maybe you'll find something you like. You know, I know this stream might not be the most exciting, considering that the weather conditions are not permitting me to get good astronomical observation. And I gotta clean my mouth. There we go. Okay, good. Now we can go back to this. So anyway, let's take a look here. So there's the planet Jupiter. And we're going to just make this real quick. I got to blow my nose real quick. Go. Much better. So anyway, let's get that in focus real quick. So actually I purposely put it out of focus. Then we're going to bring it back into focus. And my goal right now is not much. I just want to see the moons of Jupiter at this point. Because I don't... Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. We can actually kind of see something there. Let's zoom in now. This is going to be digital zoom, but you can see some stripes there. Now, a telescope with greater magnification would be, you know, way better for like something like this. Or a telescope with a narrower field of view. But you could probably already see... Oh, there's the moons. And we're actually still out of focus. So let's fix the focus. And then once we do that, we should be able to... Okay, we were actually severely out of focus. So let's get good sharp focus. Then I'll sharpen up the image in terms of the brightness and what have you. Alright, so now we're going to go and revert back. So there you go. See, that's definitely looking like Jupiter right there, right? See 3 stripes. And on my... One of these days, I'm going to replace the telescope that's all busted up. Because if I replace the broken reflecting telescope, this is a refractor. This telescope is good for what it does, but it's not good for planetary imaging. And so, you know, you need a narrow field of view for, you know, this sort of target. But you can definitely see the stripes. Sometimes you can see the red spot. But even with this scope, even if I can't see, you know, everything I want to see, we can increase the exposure time. And we can see the moons. And so we can see the 4 largest moons: Europa, Ganymede, Callisto, and Io. You can see 1, 2. Here, let's get rid of the reticle. See? 1, 2, 3, 4. And I've done nights of observation where I would just take a simple series of pictures on separate nights, like the one you're looking at here, and save them. So that anytime I got into an argument with a person who wanted to assert that the Earth was flat or that space was fake, I would be like, well, look, I've made observations of my own of Jupiter. And although I can't prove everything, I can at least, you know, provide evidence of this being, you know, a thing. And so I do have clearer pictures of, you know, that type of thing. Oh, you do? You do that? Whoa, okay. So that's interesting. Okay. So Cole Hond is a friend indeed then. You're a friend because you're a friend of Punk Waddle and Snacks. So that means you're a friend of mine, or at least a friendly face. And so that's cool. But yeah, it's funny because I was hitting up Snacks a while ago saying, man, yo, let's do some gunplay builds, you know? It's like, I promise not to say anything stupid, because sometimes I say stupid shit when I'm on other people's shows. So anyway, last time I was on with Snacks a while ago, I was on with him once. I painted the flagship Hyperion from Legend of the Galactic Heroes, but this thing needed some more detailing, and I was trying to like hold off because I was like trying to decide if I wanted to redo the paint, but at this point, I actually held off on this for a while. I did the touch-up paint on the, you know, you can see right here, like, the brown part. I gotta redo the antennas, so I got some brass rods that are ready to be shoved in here. And pretty much I just gotta shove a bunch of brass rods for different thicknesses. And this one's good. And at some point I want to, you know, reprint it. I actually think I already have a reprint of this, but I gotta reprint any missing parts. And I want to do a larger one of these, and I want to do a better job painting it now that I kind of figured out what went right and what went wrong. But this one, I give up on, like, you know, perfecting the surface. You know, I could have done better, but at this point, I'm not gonna strip the paint off and start over. So I appreciate the compliments on it, though. But you know I should be able to do better. So anyway, let's get this victory gun back into its non-flight configuration. And so in flight configuration, it's actually got a landing gear. And this is just a, you know, core fighter effect. I'm very proud of, even though it's not great, I did some detailing on the pilot. I actually gave him a yellow airbag, dark seat belts, gray helmet trim, which is not perfect, and I actually did that little blue window on the helmet. And so anyway, the landing gear is pretty straightforward. You just kind of dock it like this, and, you know, you can land it. like that, you know. Blackout flares on the side of the camera help. So actually, so if you're talking about my telescope, Slim Nim, I do have a dew shield on it, which is basically like a nice hollow tube, and that's mainly to draw away moisture, but it does block out stray light. So probably gonna do some more detailing at some point, but my goal right now is just to get this built. I'm not doing any painting at all. Just looking to get, I did some paint work on my RX-78, minimal paint work on this just to see how it came out. In fact, this is the high grade version of this. This is the master grade. So main difference is that we're about to turn this core fighter into this chest part here. So yeah, this one's master grade version Ka, which I think means version Katoki. And this is the V2 Victory Gundam. In fact, I have a box here somewhere. Yeah, here we go. I'll show you the box real quick. The box is humongous. So it says version Ka. Apparently it's a big deal. I think Snack says he picked up a gun tank version Ka. You know, it says UC-153 because it's late in the UC timeline. And the box sort of shows you all of these different flight configurations. You got the hangers and the boots, which basically means the arms and the legs. And then you got the core fighter independent of both. But in the TV series, these parts can be launched separately off the back of a truck and then, you know, docked in the middle of combat. You know, so that was the gist of that. So let's get this thing morphed now. And one of these days, maybe I'll be able to get back into imaging planets. Because, you know, it seems like the weather is hit or miss right now. Like, I'm looking at Jupiter, it seems okay. So what I would do is I'd take pictures of Jupiter on different nights, and I would, you know, argue with flat Earth enthusiasts. I'd be like, well, look, I saw Jupiter with the moons of Jupiter in different positions. Uh-oh. So I always mix up this one part here. And sometimes, like, that's one thing I hate about working on, trying to morph this, is there's always that risk that you're going to flip something into a position that you don't want it in. So we got to push it. There we go. We push it down. There we go. So this piece here, this flap is like really critical to like this transform here. So okay, we're going to do that again. This time, whoops. Okay, we got to bring it back down again. So I think you had to flip this up. Yeah, there we go. No doubt. I'm going to be heading out soon too, Slim. And thanks for dropping by and hanging out. Okay, so now we're going to bring the head up. And I think you just bring it up like that. And I don't even think you... I forget what the picture says to do. Well, let's see. Let's try keeping it flat for now. And then what you do is you take this rudder and you put it into the down configuration, actually. Actually, we put it in the mech configuration like that. And it actually locks everything into place so that the head can only move, like, I think a little bit. There's a trick to this. I always forget what it is. Whatever. Let's just see. Let's roll with it. All right. Let's just kind of roll with this. All right. So... I had to look at the manual last time I did this. Oh yeah, okay, so this rudder here, this vertical stabilizer goes like this, and then this locks in, and then I think this here allows the head to now move up and down a little bit. My first Gundam ever was a master grade, GM custom, and it was good for years. It wasn't great, like the sanding was really shoddy, but then I wanted to paint it and I took it apart and I misplaced a bunch of parts, and I just recently started rounding up the missing parts. But this would be my first like serious effort to do a master grade correctly, I would say. So now this one was a little weird because it has, okay, now I remember. Okay, so yeah, this was weird because, okay, so we got the nose of the fighter, right? And you gotta bring it in. Before you can fold it in, you gotta bring this out like this and fold that out like that, and then we could shove the pilot inside like this, and there we go. See, look, already it's starting to take shape. And then we take this and we gotta like actually put it like that. So basically that was it. Like, it took a few, like, you know, figuring out. Didn't want to rip it apart, but in short, that is more or less it. Now I think when you like I said, I definitely got some figuring out to do, because sometimes, like, you know, like I can't get everything to flush correctly, but like I said, I'm not trying to spend like 20 minutes on stream reading the manual in front of you, you know, but last time I did morph it, I was able to get this part to be more or less flush. In fact, I think I just did it. Something like that. Yeah, something like that. So there you go. And then we could turn it back into a fighter. And of course, the V2 Victory Gundam has these, like, you know, thrust area here. I don't think it had decals for this part, but this one has stickers that add these little black lines. This one I painted in this case, but this would have been all blue. This one's actually yellow. So that's basically the gist of it. So yeah, I'm really glad I picked this up. I really want to work on the first Victory Gundam more, but I'm going to hold off because I misplaced the core fighter that I built years ago. And if I find it, that would be great. If not, I could spend a fortune to buy a replacement. But there's actually the V-Dash. The V-Dash Victory Gundam is the first Victory Gundam, except that it's got shoulder-mounted beam cannons. And so with that one, I would actually, yeah, I would love to, like, that one's cool because that one's got 3 core fighters. So I feel like if you misplace something, like, you got a little more flexibility. But, you know, like, maybe the core fighters serve a particular purpose. So I'm going to put this back in landing configuration so that I don't misplace the landing gear. And it doesn't take me long to get this into flight configuration because, you know, you just got to fold these out, take this bit here. I always forget how to do this. I think you fold this up, then you push the head down until it makes a clicking sound. It's like an ungodly noise. You feel like you're going to break something every time I do that. There's like 3 clicks. It freaks me out every time I do it, but I just kind of roll with it. And then we can finally fold it. I've been putting the decals on. I've been following the instructions to a T. I've been trying really hard. But yeah, thanks for the compliments on that. I think it's very nice too. Hey, what up, cute EPX? About to wrap it up, but it's good to see you. I hope you're doing well today. I hope everything's fine. I hope you have good weather where you are. And, you know, I'm not going to play Pod Racer tonight, but maybe I'll play tomorrow. I got to get up early, get a haircut. I didn't even plan on getting a haircut. I mean, I did. I scheduled it early. I just forgot about it. And I'm glad they called me to confirm the appointment, but that's a different. So, as you can see, it can get a little tricky finagling this. Like, I always get, like, every time I do this, I'm worried I'm going to break something. Like, there we go. Okay, I think we got it. And then we're going to finally put this. Do I have anything else? No, I think that's basically it. Then we could, you know, open the exhaust or thrust nozzles as we want. But finally, let's just put the landing gear and we'll park it. And then I'm going to clean up. But, you know, we, like I said, I'm not doing any astronomy tonight because I can't really count on the weather to hold up right now. At least in terms of the clouds. Hey, Google, what's the current weather?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
Hey, Google, what's the weather?
Currently in Staten Island, it's 60 degrees and clear.
There we go.
It'll be partly cloudy with a high of 77.
And that's it. We're back in flight mode. But why? Why? Why do you want that responsibility, cute EPX? Seriously, why do you want to be a mod so bad? Or, you know, you seem very interested in being a mod. And I think I speak for me and like 3 other people in our genuine curiosity as to why. You know what I mean? Like, why not just come in and smell the roses, enjoy the company, hang out with friends, you know? And like I say, like, at some point, you know, you keep showing up. I probably would make you a mod, but when somebody asks me a lot, see, maybe this is a failing of being American, but we get suspicious when somebody asks a lot, you know, for certain things. We don't know if they're gonna, like, you know, rob us, even though there's no way you can rob. I don't know. I'm paranoid. I'm paranoid. But no, jokes aside, like, it is a responsibility, and if I make someone a mod and they, like, you know, start banning people, like, that shouldn't be banned, that's on me. And so I don't want to put myself or you in that position, if that makes sense. So that's what my mindset is, but I'm sorry, QPX, if that, you know, bothers you. I like, you know, I want to be a friend. I like making friends, I really do. But I'm slow to make mods. Even like, if you know, the guy came in earlier, Action Man, he's got a different name, he changes his name frequently. It took a while for him to become mod, but I was friends with him for like, I don't know, like 6 months. And I was like, I trust this guy. He's a straight shooter. And, you know, it's the same thing. You know, you just show up, be cool, and, you know, be friendly like you've been friendly. And at some point, you know, it'd be like, yeah, I'll make you mod, but I don't do it overnight. And yeah, I agree, especially as a New Yorker. But in general, it is normal to be suspicious, for a matter of fact. And it's true, like, somebody's like, you know, you're right. I shouldn't be shaming myself or be shamed for being suspicious. So before I wrap up, I'm thinking about trying to run the Japanese printout through Google Translate. I really want to see, you know, if that yields anything, you know? I've been using a glass file today. It's been alright. It's got its... I got like mixed opinions, and if I ever get to do a gunplay build stream with Snacks, I do want to see what his opinion of these glass files are, because I've had mixed experiences with them. Mainly that they could be good for removing the nubs or, you know, these sprues or whatever you call those little plastic things. But, and if you want to make it shiny, that's kind of cool, but I find that, like, generally speaking, like, it's not congruent. It doesn't give me a consistent look, you know, and to get a consistent look, I have to basically use wet sandpaper or a mix of sandpaper to, like, kind of get the model, get it to buff out a little bit. The cutters I've been using, I'm very happy with. Usually I don't use these for like everything, but I'll use these for, like, you know, removing the final nubs. Probably have to clean these, put some oil on them, but I try to take care of these. I don't leave them out. I try to put them away, you know, at least put the cover on. But these were like basically like a $35 version of the God Hands, and I didn't buy the God Hands because, one, the name is sacrilegious. No, I'm kidding. It's not, I don't really care about that much, but I do find it like a little awkward. Like, this says God Hands on it, and I'm just like, am I gonna get struck by lightning for having God Hands sandpaper? I feel like if there is a God, he might get a little tight about that. Like, no, these aren't my hands. Nah, but jokes aside, and I was using this on the other Victory Gundam and on a Zaku to get rid of the seams, and that was got the panel lines, and that was kind of cool. Like, so when you join two halves together, this is a thin cement that works through capillary action. It's pretty sweet. This cement here will literally melt the plastic before your eyes. This will literally melt the plastics before your eyes. It's quite amazing when you need something to do that, but if you don't need it to do that and you do it by accident, you spill it on the wrong part, boy oh boy, that was an interesting situation for me. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. So I did notice that different, you know, different grit, different textures, or different types of glass files. There was this one like semi-popular one that had like a fancy name or whatever, and I think that guy who does the It's a Gundam / It's a Gunplay guy, he was like actually shilling or advertising one of these products, and I was like, yeah, it's kind of interesting. All right, well, let's see here. I think I'm gonna put my normal keyboard on my desk. I've been using this little one here. It's all right, but it doesn't give me the same satisfying feel of the big keyboard. And then we'll be wrapping this up pretty soon, because I want to watch an episode of Fang of the Sun Dugrum before bed. Yeah, I've been watching that lately. It's pretty good. Ugly animation, but very good plot, very good story. So yeah, and I did buy a few different glasses. Well, I bought like these little ones, and it turned out the little ones, they were all identical. Like, it's just that one of them has a pointy tip, one has a round tip, and the other one has a squared edge. So it's like, okay, well, I don't really... It's nice to have these different shapes, but I would have rather have a triple pack that had different grit instead of just all the same number. And then I got this large one here, and it was alright, but this large one was a little bit weird to me. It was like... It was kind of like interesting using it for the first time and how it worked. You gotta rinse these with water, or I found using a bamboo stick is actually convenient, because you can kind of just sweep the plastic material off like that. So if you don't have, like, you don't want to go to a sink and rinse it off, you can just kind of do that. And it doesn't seem to mess up the glass, but it pushes the plastic off. So yeah, it's been like a trick that I've been using, because I don't feel I want to wipe my finger on it. I don't want to lose my skin on this, you know? So that one was kind of interesting, but even I think this was a knockoff of a more prominent brand, so to speak. Gundam markers, I have mixed attitudes. They have their uses, but if I use them more extensively, I'm going to want to use a clear coat, because, you know, they are alcohol soluble, so to speak. Yeah, you know, I'm not looking to look at Jupiter right now, but we got the moon. So, oh yeah, actually, you know, I should take a quick picture of the moons in their position. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take a picture of them in like, yeah, we'll do PNG. We don't really need a raw image for that, and that won't take long. Use masking tape to clean. Oh, that's good to know. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, pro tip, use masking tape to clean the glass files. It works pretty well. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So, we're going to actually take a picture in all 3 formats, except for the video format. Yeah, I think a couple of times I would do like this for hours. If the weather was subpar, I would just say aim at Jupiter, and if I fast forward it, sometimes it would look like the moons are changing positions a little bit, but they don't really change position unless you compare the pictures on a night-to-night basis. But even that alone sort of like serves as evidence if you're arguing with someone who doesn't believe space is real. And I do have to release that video soon on the Apollo missions because even though, like, look, I can prove the Earth is round. I can prove just by the virtue of the design of my telescope mount that the Earth is not flat. But can I prove that men had landed on the moon? No, I don't think I could prove it to satisfaction of a person who, doesn't believe it. And I can't blame them because it's like, what am I supposed to do? Oh, here's a picture from NASA. If the person doesn't trust NASA, I mean, I can't expect them to be swayed by that evidence. There are times where it gets ridiculous, but, my thing was to just look at, like, even though some of the evidence is from NASA, there was effort to build the craft that landed on the moon. And just looking at the lunar lander, like, every component in that design was very deliberate. And there's a reason it looks like it was put together in someone's garage over a weekend. It's not because it's fake, it's because that's how real it is. And if it was fake, they would have made it look sleek. It would have looked like some cool, Dick Tracy type space machine. But anyway, enough on that topic. I'm not looking to go down that rabbit hole unless, of course, there's any thoughts or questions on that matter. My job right now, what was I supposed to do right now? Aside from ending the stream, I think I wanted to do something else. I cleaned my box, so that's good. At least the box is clean. See, there we go. There we go. So I don't lose any parts. Oh yeah, let's make sure we inventory my desk for parts. Because I am not losing another freaking part. Like, I had to buy a second high-grade RX-78-2 because I lost the red piece that goes up here. Now, in the box for this, I have some parts I painted with enamel. And they look amazing, airbrush enamel. But there's no way in hell I'm going to do the whole thing in airbrush enamel. I mean, if you're going to paint something, it's better to do, I think, on a simple grade model like this. Just because, like, it's not as intricate. And, I mean, it's easier for me to keep track of all of the parts doing something like this. But, yeah, anyway, I did, like, Gundam marker over here. Gundam marker over here. I think this part's supposed to be white on the RX-78-2, but I don't believe in it being white, so I made it this color. I think I'm supposed to shove a decal up here and here. Or I could paint it. I got a couple options. But that's for later. So anyway. Let's just quick inventory. So we got the shoulder I was working on. We got the whole core fighter over there. And I want to just rule out that... Okay, good. I found it. Yeah, because I have a spare parts bag here. And this bag here even has the sniper scope. So this little plastic thing is like... It's a little thing that comes down in front of the Victory Gundam's eye. And it like has a little green LED in the TV show. It makes a cool beeping sound. Problem is, if you install this, you can't take it out. So unless I build 2 core fighters and one of them has the sniper scope and the other one doesn't, I don't want to have something in there permanently because it's a part that is supposed to be retractable in the TV show. So why would I want it to be permanently there? Also, I would say these Tamiya files were nice and cheap and they're pretty good. Just pretty standard round file, flat file, and they were very cheap. These were freaking expensive. Like, the set cost me $30, but I was able to use these files to add an HDMI port to my N64. This was literally the reason I bought this set of files, was to carve out a mini HDMI port on my N64. So, me personally, I'm doing my next build stream probably, if not tomorrow afternoon, definitely Saturday. So, I'll be happy to, drop a link. Today, I started the stream directly out of the, out of OBS. But a lot of times lately, I've only been doing that for gaming streams. And then when I'm doing a build stream, I'll usually, do it through VStream Studio so that I could share a link for people to join. So I'll keep that in mind. Next time I do a build stream, I'll make sure I fire it up in that manner so that I can share a link if you're interested in joining a build stream, or if you're just looking to watch it, that's cool too. But this Victory Gundam, I want to finish it, so I'm motivated to keep working on it. I do typically go out to my friend's house on Friday night. I may or may not bring the parts of this to my friend's house. I probably shouldn't. If I do, I'm bringing a rubber mat with me because like that's how I lost the red piece from the RX-78. I literally like was cutting it, it flew off the runners and just bounced across the floor. I dropped a couple of parts. I dropped a beam saber. Found a beam saber by some divine miracle. But you know, but yeah, Tamiya makes pretty good stuff. I have Tamiya cutters, but they kept leaving stress marks. Maybe I was using them wrong, and that's why I bought these more expensive cutters, because of the stress marks. But there's other ways to deal with stress marks. Like, you don't have to like cut it. You don't have to flush cut it. I mean, I'm sure there's like different schools of thought on how that gets done. But yeah, I miss my old telescope that let me get all tight zoom on Jupiter. So basically, it looks like we're getting varying brightness, on Jupiter right now, which means we definitely have some cloud cover. My auxiliary camera is giving me some lip earlier. In fact, let's test. I'm going to test my auxiliary camera before I shut down. I think I'm going to make it a wrap. So, whoops, that's the wrong camera. Got to click on it again now. But yeah, definitely, like, I want to have this Gundam done by, like, next week. So I'm going to be doing multiple build streams. As long as this box is not fully assembled, there will be multiple build streams during the week. So if you're not around on Saturday or, you know, Friday afternoon or whatever, because I don't know, I might take a nap tomorrow when I get back from my haircut. So maybe I don't do a build stream. But there will be multiple times I'm going to be doing build streams between now and next week. I'm certain, because only days I won't do a build stream is Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So basically Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, maybe Tuesday night, because that's like my Friday. But Sunday and Monday is basically a no-go. But you're more than welcome to join. And if you want, I'll put out like a community post on my channel just mentioning I'm doing a build stream, so you can gotta get the word that, you know, if you to plan around that, or just to say you have it in mind. But otherwise, if I'm doing a build stream and you see me running, yeah, you know, I'll give you a link. Definitely. I'll be happy to have you join me in a build stream. Yeah, I know. That's why I was bugging Snacks. So the same thing, like, I was bugging Snacks on Twitter. I was like, yo, bro, when are you doing a build stream? And it's basically the same mindset. I was like, I need motivation to, you know, start building with some of my backlog, you know? And so then I decided to just get some motivation. In fact, I took the Zaku apart because I need to do some cleanup on it. But I did like a little touch up on the eye, and I did the black over here. That came out good. I redid the chest armor multiple times and stripped it multiple times. And at one point I had the wrong color gray here, but it looked pretty good. But I think at this point I'm not going to get OCD, because this is not even a first entry grade. This is like first grade. That's what it says in the box, first grade model. So I got to do a little paint over here. But, you know, I did some experimental painting in some areas and then stripped it away and yada, yada, yada. So some areas I got to redo to touch up, but I used a combination of, I think, acrylic on the hand here, and that's what you see here, like a dark green acrylic over here. And I used Gundam marker like everywhere else, basically. At one point I did hand paint this, but I stripped it so I could use the Gundam marker, because I picked up a new set of Zaku markers. But yeah, I did some stuff with the scoring tool a few times on the Zaku. So the Zaku is cool because it's like such a basic model. It was good practice, you know, just for using different methods, because I didn't want to do anything like insane to anything value. I did use the scoring tool on this as well. Not to great effect. What I did do to great effect is I used the Tamiya cement to hide the panel lines. And I don't know why it's dirty over here, but I'll either clean it or paint it, you know, with the Gundam marker. But once again, if I use the Gundam marker, I'm probably going to take this apart, paint the parts separately, and then put a clear coat on it, because I need to have a protective clear coat if I'm going to, you know, do the entire body. Problem with the Gundam marker is why I'm reluctant to keep, you know, one of the reasons why I'm avoiding painting right now. Take a look at this shield. So I did it wrong, but every time you do it wrong, you got to strip the paint off with alcohol and redo it. And like, you know, even if I did like perfectly, more or less perfect over here, the answer to that was doing basically about 1 coat, 2 coats tops. But once the paint dries, if you use the Gundam marker, you're just going to make it more and more blotchy. And I think I painted this part first. This came out almost good enough. This part came out pretty good, but then the incongruency makes me want to start over again, right? Meanwhile, you got this like this speckle pattern. I don't know if dust fell down on it, but this was a big problem, this clumping that's happening here. So I'm probably going to strip the shield again. And that's one of the reasons why, like, I find that Gundam markers are great for, like, small touch-up jobs. They're not really good for, like, large surfaces. But since I already messed this up, I can't clean it off completely. So I have to, you know, stay the course with the Gundam marker. So I'll give it another shot with the Gundam marker. And if that fails again, I'll just use, you know, this. I'll just put this red paint on it. You know, I think this is an acrylic. Oh my god, did you hear that cat just now? There's just a cat made the loudest noise. Yeah, okay, good. This is acrylic, so double-edged sword, but the good news is it won't make any fumes, so that's my plan. And let me just see here. I want to test my astronomy camera, and I'm going to wrap it up, and then we'll park the telescope. So yeah, I think that's a rough plan, basically. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing build streams, you know it. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Okay, that's expected. That's okay. So when I was using the other application to communicate with the camera, it was getting some kind of delay. It seems to be working now. It might not be, you know. Oh yeah, that's some clouds right there, I think. Oh, I'm going to show you a real treat before I go to bed. If you're watching, I'm going to show you a real treat real quick. But I'm going to image this target, but we're going to get a real treat for both you and our friend PJ of Orville Nation. If you don't watch him, you might want to subscribe to him. So let's see. We're going to do a real treat, and I'm going to wrap this up pretty quick. You'll have to rewind, PJ, if you want to see the Victory Gundam core fighter being transformed back and forth. But, uh-oh. There we go. Good, okay. The telescope is slewing to the target. We can see that the thingamabob is slewing. And as soon as it gets to M42, we're not going to image it. We're just going to do what we call electronically assisted astronomy. And the beauty of that is we don't have to, like, we're not going out of our way to, like, get the best image. We just want to see the thing that would otherwise be difficult to see. And this target here is in the Orion constellation. You can see, like, you know, it's Orion. He's got the two arms. Betelgeuse is in the corner. Vigil is on the bottom right corner. And you got Orion's belt, which I'm sure many people are familiar with, including Mintaka, which I believe is the site of a big battle in Star Trek DS9. So anyway, right between Orion's knees. So if this is Orion's belt, these are his legs, right? And this is Orion's foot, here and here. Then Orion's nebula is basically right between his knees. That's how I describe it. And you can see it with the naked eye. If you put your phone on like a fence post and you do a long exposure, you could see something. You will be able to see something like this here. And that's what we're going to see right now. So we're on the secondary camera right now. So we're going to switch to the primary. But just to give you an idea, like you can see that little shit stain of a object there. So now let's go and put to the main camera. Yeah, the software is all right. And I mean, there are more comprehensive, more semi-automated applications, but this one is like, I like it because it allows me to like kind of like troubleshoot better. And like right now, autofocus is elusive, but plate solving, where the telescope practically recenters itself on the target, even when it's not on target, that works. And I can even do it inside this program. At some point, I do want to get more comprehensive about stringing together all of the separate operations. Alright, we're switching filters, and then we're going to crank up the exposure time, and we should be able to see something, assuming the camera is not malfunctioning. The camera's malfunctioning. Actually, it's not. Okay, good. No, the camera's not malfunctioning. I think we're just looking at a cloud or a house right now. So, it looks like we're not in for a treat. Let me see. We'll double check here. Okay, cranking up the setting. Uh-oh. Are you not going to cooperate with me, Mr. Camera? Yeah, it looks like we're probably looking at some clouds or something. Okay, good. We can see a little bit of Orion right there on the bottom of the frame. So let's crank up our exposure, but you're going to see that the image will kind of fluctuate because of the atmospheric conditions. And that's not surprising, because if we look at the microphysics, let's see, let's get day-night microphysics here. you know, that means that even if it was clear, it would look like hell. But right now, as I understand it, it's not clear. But yeah, I got a haircut at noon tomorrow, which is not that early, but you know. Okay, so take about, how long is it going to take for the camera software to update the image? 18, okay, 6 more seconds. About 5 seconds actually, but yeah, anyway, who's counting? So in about 2 more seconds, we should have an updated image. Good. And yeah, there's a lot of atmospheric interference here. So what can we do to overcome that? Well, let's try switching to a narrow band filter. And with some luck, the narrow band filter will limit the amount of light we get, but it might just block enough of the light pollution for us to be able to see something with a little more clarity. But the atmospheric conditions are sort of showing us right now that, yeah, we're not getting quality images. This is just going to be for like observation, almost like using an enhanced eyepiece. And interestingly, PJ, people do use, what do you call it? In fact, yeah, both of you guys, they use night, what do you call it? Night vision amplifiers. So like those image intensification amplifiers, they use those as inside the eyepiece slot in a telescope to see more. It doesn't see in color, but it will like let them see more, which is super cool because it's a way of, instead of doing a long exposure, you can look at objects in real time. But right now, yeah, we're not seeing anything. Wait, did that just update? Wait, let's see. Maybe the cloud passed away? Nah, yeah, it's not. Yeah, we're not seeing anything right now. So, literally, you didn't see nothing. Actually, if you say you didn't see nothing, that means you saw something, right? Because it's like a double negative. I always hated those double negatives. Like, I like double negatives, but I hate that people don't interpret them properly. Like, someone should be getting anal, like, oh, that's a double negative, like, you know, and demand accuracy. And thank you, PJ. I appreciate that. I'm glad I can amuse and entertain. And I think you might like what the Victory Gundam does. You know what? For you, PJ, I'm going to do it one more time. God, I'm going to do it one more time before I wrap up. So let's park the telescope since we're certainly not seeing any target right now. So to do that, we just click on this button. And it's just like parking a car. And if I got to replace the outdoor CCTV camera soon. And when I do, we'll be able to go back to watching the telescope move while watching this app. Because that was cool. When I was doing that during the streams, that looked super cool. And ever since that camera shorted out, we haven't had that luxury. But we just park it towards the North Star. And the North Star is basically evidence, this whole part of the sky is evidence that the Earth is not flat. Just for the record. Just saying, I'm just saying. But I'm not here to proselytize right now. So then we're going to disconnect and let it chill. Oh, and you know what we're going to do? We're going to do something for the telescope. We're going to turn on the dew heaters so that if there's any condensation, it doesn't like collect water on the optical tube. So we're going to do that right now. I'm going to say full power. Oh, and you know what? While I'm at it, let's park the motorized focuser. So we're going to call this one, we're going to make a preset here. What we do is we connect to the motorized focuser using a different app. And now when I want to start the next session, I could literally just tell it to go to the last position. But for now, we're going to say go to 0. And all this is doing is taking the camera and retracting it into the back of the telescope. And that's to help keep dust out. And, you know, all of that. And usually I forget to do this step, but we're going to do it now. And this here is going to heat up. I have like 2 Velcro straps wrapped around the lenses on the telescopes or around the tube. And it just makes it, like, it makes minimal heat. It's not a lot of heat, but you just need the telescope to not be colder than the surrounding temperature when there's any humidity. Because if there's a lot of humidity or enough humidity in the air, like in the early morning, even in the summertime, and the glass lens on the telescope is cooler than the surrounding air, it will collect condensation. And I remember with my first telescope, I had like an 8-inch front lens on it. And I would go outside with a hairdryer or a hot air gun and just blow the front of it to get rid of the moisture. Okay, so there we go. Dew heaters at max. Thingamajig is parked. In fact, what we can do is we're going to keep this app connected because this keeps the telescope heaters running even if I'm not connected to the app. But keeping it running will allow me to maintain a graph showing the temperature. My humidity sensor is lying to me, however, so I don't expect the humidity reading to be accurate. But the temperature reading seems to be pretty faithful. So anyway, yeah, we're going to disconnect that. And then we're going to do the Gundam thing one last time. Unless you already saw it when you rewound the stream. But no, I'm joking. Let's see. Why didn't this close? Why you no close? Wait for program. Please close. Please close cleanly so I don't have to like do this whole thing. Please. That was interesting. There we go. Okay. So now, where was I? Two things. So I've been accumulating a lot of video when I record video using OBS, and I use the NVIDIA video encoder. Whoops. But it creates very large files. So I use this program to compress them into smaller files. And yeah, we're going to let that run when I go to bed. I'll leave the window open because if I don't leave the window open, my room will get toasty hot because of the heat that comes out of the computer. Especially this morning. It was pretty warm in the eastern seaboard. So anyway, that's the Victory Gundam. And it is basically the core fighter of the Victory Gundam, I should say. So this is a smaller master grade. I'm sorry, high grade. This is a master grade. It came in this humongous box. And in this humongous box, you got the Gundam on one side. And you got the core fighter's various configurations on this side. So you can like have like basically the core fighter on its own. And if I build the legs and the arms, I could dock them in these two configurations. Or I could build the entire mech. So basically what we're going to do right now is we're going to take this fighter and turn it into the chest of this mech. And so we're going to just remove the landing undercarriage, as they would call it in aviation terms, right? And hopefully, there we go, it should be pretty clear. And this will be the last thing I do on this stream. But if you have any questions, comments, or ideas, definitely drop them while I'm doing this so I can respond. So this gets a little tricky right here, but you're supposed to like push on this bottom bit here. It's going to click twice. Or it clicks when you... Oh, I always make that mistake. Okay, I gotta push it down again. It's gonna click going down. It's scary whenever it makes that noise. But see this flap here, it gets caught in an area that you don't want to get caught in. Ah, bummer, it did it again. So that's like the most challenging thing about this particular kit is that the little flap thing. There we go. Okay, wait, did I get it this time? You have to like fold this up like this before you push it up because this flap here gets caught under this little gray thing. So let's push it up now. I think Dave Bob is gonna be co-hosting with Loki tomorrow. I hope Loki's back tomorrow. We'll see. So now this part originally like went like this with the rudder held inside like this, like it would lock into place. But now, because this would be the back of the Gundam when standing up. In fact, oh wait, that's what we're gonna do. Because originally this was up like this. So we fold this down, we put the rudder in, and it locks. So actually we want it to lock this time. So we're gonna let it lock. And this I think serves as a dual purpose. It keeps the head from like moving around. So it moves up and down a little bit, but it won't do anything else. Like, oh, whoops, I just did that little clicky thing. So let's finish that up. Let's put that in the up position again. Okay, and then we got to put this like this. So this part, actually, when it's assembled, I think keeps it rigid. So now what? Well, real quick. So I didn't show you the pilot in the cockpit, but I'll show you that. I showed it earlier. And I actually painted that with Gundam marker and a thin paint brush. So you got the little blue in the glass on the space helmet. You got the yellow airbag slash seatbelt. You got actual safety straps. And this thing started rattling around in here after I glued the window on. So I had to like finagle it with like a brass rod before putting glue into the back. And this spot here, I could probably sand it away. This is not glued just from cutting it off the runners. But I've been very conservative about avoiding over sanding. And I'll show you why. I don't want to over sand it or paint this model, at least any of the parts, because what's going to happen right now is, oh my god, Padawannabe, I hope you saw the part with this thing. In fact, okay, we're going to convert it back into a core fighter afterwards, but we're going to turn it into a Gundam now. So the pilot goes inside like this. Oh yeah, and then this part's supposed to fold out. So I was supposed to take this, fold it down. Good to see you, Padawannabe. So now, we take this, and we're going to take that, we're going to fold it like that, and then I always forget. There we go. And then there's a trick to this, but it's something like that. It's approximate, but basically like, and then this kind of spreads out a little bit to make a V shape, like because it's the Victory Gundam, so it's got to have like a, and this one's pretty nice. All of the parts lock neatly, like they don't give you any BS. And then there you go. You got like the cockpit. And so now, you know, obviously we don't have the arms attached yet, but that's the cockpit of a Gundam. The pilot is like right behind his window. And in the TV series, he can even like come out like this sometimes. And this doesn't quite look right in this model kit, but in the TV series, it's like the pilot could be like sticking out without having a nose sticking out. I think to get proper articulation, they couldn't really, you know, commit to that type of arrangement here, so they didn't even try. No doubt, I'm about to wrap it up too. Thanks for dropping by, PJ. You have a good night, brother. And real quick, I'm going to read what Padawannabe said. I don't know if I read what you said. I know I said this before, but when I see you building this, it makes me excited to do my Zoid builds. Hello, all. Hey, DJ Ronnie G. You need any up, dog? Just messing. Huh? Nah, I need to go to bed. So anyway, let's put this thing away now. So we're going to clean this up. Hey, QEPX, I'm about to wrap it up, brother. I hope you're doing well. So anyway, let's see. We're going to put that piece in the fold up position, I think. I always forget. And we got to push the head down. It's very scary when I do this. It makes an ugly clicking sound twice. See, like 3 times actually, like 3 clicks. Then that flat piece is already in the down position. So we're looking good here. Why don't be sad there, QEPX. So anyway, then we take this and there we go. The vertical stabilizer already popped out. This we could fold in, I think. I don't know if we have to fold it in, but we just have to kind of like, you know, get it into like a straight position, I think, if I remember correctly. We'll leave it out like that for now. So now let's go and put the cockpit away. Oh no, actually we want to put it out. So actually we got everything out. Now what are we missing? I feel like I'm missing something here. And then we can put the undercarriage. So that's basically it. I'm gonna wrap this up right now. But bro, come on. Tell me why you want to be a mod, please. I'm not promising I'll make you a mod, but it would make a difference if I knew why. And there you go. Now we got a core fighter. And I always forget if this is, I think it's supposed to be straight to the back like that. It's not quite complete yet. I feel like there's something missing on the side. I don't remember right now, but that's the gist of it. But it works. I'm very happy. It actually works. So I can just land it. Why is it your dream, my friend? Like I said, it's responsibility. It puts you in the spotlight. If there's any drama, your name gets pulled into the drama. I don't know if you know how much being a mod entails so much potential drama. But jokes aside, look, I'll keep you in mind. It's just like right now, I'm not making any new mods at all. So, you know, I'm not gonna ice you out, but I guess I have to give you dibs before I make someone else a mod. There's that, right? But anyway, I think we're wrapping this up. So please is not enough. You literally, okay, so you did answer my question. I'll give you that. You did answer my question. You said mod is my dream. So I can't say that I don't think it's a great answer, but you technically answered my question. So even though I didn't specify give me a good answer or give me a better answer, I should have been more specific. That's my fault. But I can't fault you for giving me an answer. You gave me an answer, you know, so there's that, you know, I mean, thank you for giving me an answer. It doesn't put my concerns and paranoia at ease, but it's an answer. I'll give you that, my friend. It is. But hey, you know, I will try to do one pod racer stream for you tomorrow so that you may be entertained, because I know you enjoy, you know, watching a good game play and good driving and racing games. So I will deliver for that because you keep returning, and that does mean a lot to me, QEPX, that you show up. You know, that means a lot. It means a lot when a lot of these people show up, you know, especially people with larger channels than me and people with better Star Wars collections than me. You know who you are. All I got is a freaking Han Solo and Carbonite right here. I shouldn't really be keeping this out. I should definitely put this shit away. I mean, it's got dust all over it now. But there it is. That's the president from Air Force One in Carbonite. Get off my plane. He's got some control panels here. You know, you like do some updates or something. Maybe turn off the refrigeration or whatever. You hit a button and dress like the Breen from Star Trek DS9 and say to Han Solo, "Who are you? Somebody who loves you." Now, it's a Han Solo in Carbonite from Star Wars. If you ever seen Star Wars Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, this is a popular item. He's basically being frozen inside this stuff called Carbonite, It sort of looks like graphite, but it's a state of hibernation, so it doesn't actually kill you, but it's like a solid slab of this black stuff, this gray stuff. And that's why he's like all like, you know, he's like, looks like he's just like, ugh, like that. He's hibernating. And it's because somebody put a bounty on his head, and this was the way to deliver the guy who's got a bounty on his head. This was a way of delivering the goods, basically, you know? So that is the answer to Han Solo and Carbonite. To say more might spoil the movie, but like I said, Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. If you ever want to watch Star Wars, I would say skip the new stuff. Watch Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. That is the first Star Wars movie. Oh, cool. Okay, I'm going to write that down. Play Roblox Star Wars. It is duly noted on my personal post-it note. Even though I can put it in my Google Notes, I sometimes write things down like because I'm old. But no, that's kind of interesting. And I'll put it down my notepad in case I forget to check my screen. I better get to bed. So anyway, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank the first person to show up, who was probably Slim Nim or a Dega. Oh, Dr. Dega Outlaw showed up, which it was an honor to have him present today because he hosted Loki's show today, and I think he did great. We had Lemon Pie, we had Slim Nim, we had VG and C Dumping Ground, and he's a mod because he, you know, showed up once in a while, and he entertains the shit out of me. His stuff is funny to watch, really. He could be fun. But, no, jokes aside, like, just, you show up, be friendly. You know, anyone could become a mod. But like I said, like, I'm not trying to drag people who I want to make mods. I don't make them mods because I don't want to make them responsible, you know? I want to thank Collyhound. That's not what it says. Collyhound. Or Coalhound. It is Collyhound. I want to thank you for dropping by, as well as Orville Nation, the founder of the Premier Orville YouTube channel. Also a friend of Maria T. and Telly. She's got some really cool Halloween videos. If you look up Maria T. and Telly, she got some really poppin' Halloween stuff right now. Like, I highly recommend her content right now. And of course, you know, the Padawannabe, you know, Master Star Wars Collector, and QEPX, our newest friend of the channel. I do not presently have Roblox, but I have a friend whose son plays it, and I'm sure he could tell me all about it and how to get into it. I'm sure he could tell me all about it, but I would rather play Roblox than Minecraft. So there's that. So I'm not planning on touching Minecraft, but I would play, what's that shit called? Roblox. I would, especially if there's a Star Wars one, that would be fire. But anyway, I better wrap this up. So it was a pleasure to see all of you guys. Thanks for hanging out. For anybody watching on the replay, if you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please leave a comment. Please like and subscribe. And, whatchamacallit. And for now, we shall end transmission on my mark. And yeah, I'm tired too, QEPX. That's why I need to go to bed. I already modded my Xbox. Right? That's what you mean by mod, right? It says mod. I'm pretty sure you're telling me to mod my Xbox again. Well, I'm kidding. I know what you want. But no, jokes aside, we already had this conversation. But I do appreciate your company, and I had fun chatting. But anyway, with that being said, we really will end transmission on my mark. I hit the wrong button.